You know that feeling, right? You're in a big leadership meeting, maybe for a critical launch, and on the surface, everything seems fine. But you can feel it. There's this hidden, persistent problem that absolutely no one is talking about. Well, today, we are going to dive into a framework that's designed to tackle exactly that.
So let's just jump right in. I want you to think for a second. In all the status updates and all hands meetings you've ever been a part of, what is the single most dangerous phrase you can hear? It sounds good, but it should actually be a huge red flag.
Yep, that's the one. Everything is on track. It's what we all want to hear, right? But more often than not, it's just a mask for denial. It's a sign that the team is actively running away from a problem instead of facing it. And that hidden issue, well, that's where things really start to go off the rails. And it's so human. As soon as we sense trouble, our instinct is to leap into action. We want to fix it, we want to stay positive, we want to get away from that uncomfortable feeling as fast as possible. But here's the crazy part. That exact instinct, that need to run, is what keeps the problem alive and kicking. This brings us to a quote that might sound a little weird at first, but stick with me. It's from the psychologist Nathaniel Branden, and he said, "You can't leave a place you've never been." So what on earth does that mean? It means you can't solve a problem you refuse to actually see. You can't move on from a reality you haven't fully acknowledged. And this is the core idea behind a framework I absolutely love called the geography of growth. The concept is actually pretty simple, but it's profound. Lasting change isn't about running away from the negative. It's a journey that has to start by accepting exactly where you are right now, without any judgment. You have to fully arrive at your starting point before you can even think about charting a course to somewhere new. Okay, so how does this whole journey actually play out? Well, we can think of it as three totally distinct paths that a person or a team can take when they're facing a tough problem. Let's map them out. So the first path, and the one we're all guilty of taking, is the fugitive's path. This is pure denial, pure avoidance. The mindset is basically, if I just ignore this, maybe it'll go away. And the result? Of course, the problem just gets bigger. But then, if you're lucky, you make a shift to the second path, the cartographers. This is huge. Here, you stop running. You actually turn around and start mapping the territory. The mindset completely changes to, okay, this is where we actually are. The result isn't a solution yet, but it's something way more valuable. It's clarity. And it's only after you've become a cartographer, after you've bravely mapped out the reality of your situation, that you can move to the final and by far the most powerful path. This is the destination, folks, the explorer's path. The mindset here is all about empowerment. Okay, now that I actually understand where I am, I can choose where to go next. See the difference? You're not reacting out of fear anymore. You're acting with awareness. This is where real, lasting progress happens. You're not a fugitive running from the past. You're an explorer charting a brand new future. Now, I know this can feel a little bit abstract, so let's make it super real with a quick story about a young professional whose biggest fear in the entire world was public speaking. Her journey shows these three paths perfectly. So for years, she was a total fugitive. She did everything she could to avoid any job or situation that required a presentation. Her first attempt, of course, was a disaster, a total crash and burn. But then she made this incredible choice. For her next speech, she became a cartographer. She didn't get up there and pretend to be some confident guru. Instead, she gave a speech about her fear, mapping it all out for herself and for the audience. And by visiting that place of terror without judging herself, she totally took away its power. From there, and only from there, could she finally walk the explorer's path, building real skill and becoming the powerful speaker she is today. So that's a great story. But how do we actually apply this as leaders? How do we help our teams move from being fugitives to becoming explorers? Well, it starts with you. You have to become the chief reality officer for your team. And there are 4 really concrete things you can do. First, build a no-blame culture. Make it psychologically safe for people to talk about problems. Second, you have to be the one who's willing to face the brutal facts first. Third, when someone on your team is struggling, don't just jump in and solve it. Ask questions that help them map their own place. And finally, you have to model this yourself. Share your own struggles. A leader who pretends to be perfect just creates a team that's afraid to be human. Now hang on, because there is a very, very important clarification we need to make here. This is the spot where people usually get this concept wrong, and it's a huge pitfall.
Okay, here's the crucial point. Acceptance is not resignation. They sound similar, but they are polar opposites. Resignation is giving up because you see the reality of a situation. Acceptance is seeing reality clearly so that you can act effectively. One is giving up on change, the other is the absolute, non-negotiable prerequisite for it.
And honestly, if you take one thing away from our chat today, let it be this. Just let it sink in for a second. Acceptance isn't the same as resignation. Acknowledging a problem isn't admitting defeat. It's establishing your base camp. It is the first essential step you have to take before you can start the climb. So I'm going to leave you with this question. Think about your team, your current project, or even your own leadership journey. What is the one difficult place, that unspoken truth, that nagging problem, that you and your team need to stop running from and finally start mapping out today? Because the journey to somewhere better always starts right there.